The murder of JonBenet and Ramsey. Do the Ramseys plan to destroy all the evidence and leave only UM1 trace DNA to exonerate them? Let's ask ChatGPT. Introduction. The following is based on ChatGPT queries. It's not perfect. You have to do your own cross-referencing. This is my opinion, all of it. The Boulder, Colorado Police tip line is 303-441-1974. There's a baseline that has to be assumed here. You must be somewhat familiar with the case. We know that John Ramsey did contaminate the crime scene. He removed JonBenet's body. He also put a blanket over her body. Patricia Ramsey invited over 6 different people. And so those shoe prints and trace DNA are on the scene, and it does contaminate the crime scene. So the crime scene has been contaminated from the very opening scenario, okay? The compromised crime scene. That's what ChatGPT says. Now, I had to make a decision whether to try the family first or go to an intruder. I went to the family first to eliminate suspects. That's my first process. So the first red flag I found was that there was a palm print on the wine cellar door. I thought originally it was Melinda Ramsey's, but it isn't. It belonged to Stuart Long. That's her boyfriend at the time, or husband now, but boyfriend at the time. And he's been cleared of that. But you cannot date a palm print. So that's just not going to happen. You can't date it. Where's the palm print physically located? We don't really know. It hasn't been released to the public, I guess. According to ChatGPT, as of July 17th of this year. There was a second shoe print. I found that by this contributor to the YouTube channel. But ChatGPT didn't know this until I asked it a second time and asked it, is there an SAS shoe print? I said, yes. The SAS shoe print was discovered in the wine cellar near where JonBenet's body was found. Now, we know about the high tech, but not about the SAS. So now you have a palm print on the wine cellar door, and then you have a shoe print near where JonBenet's body was found in the wine cellar, right? In the wine cellar near where JonBenet's body was found. So the SAS shoe print, the SAS is from San Antonio shoemakers. They make shoes for professionals, nurses, healthcare workers, teachers, retail workers, hospitality staff, older adults. And so we go here. There's SAS shoes. And so that's very professional. And that's sasshoes.com. Now, the Ramsey purchased their home in 1991. That's a 5-year window between the purchase date and the actual murder. So we have a palm print or a shoe print that could be like up to 5 years old if they were applied during the time of the Ramsey's purchase forward. There's a palm print on the wine cellar door and the SAS shoe print, everything in common. And I say yes. The palm print belonged to a potential medical student, and the shoe print came from a potential medical staff member. Is there any Ramsey medical background? The answer is yes. The Ramsey have attendants. Melinda, from John's first family, attended the Medical College of Georgia, and the dates of her attendance were 1996 to 2000, day of the murder, or the year of the murder, I'm sorry. And then we have Stuart Long, her husband, then boyfriend. He graduated from there in 1997. So you could say that 1996 was a common year for them to meet each other, I guess. For the medical field, there were 2 incidents now that are related to medical, right? We have the handprint from a potential medical student and a shoe print from a potential medical student or a medical field. So it seems everything's been contaminated in the crime scene, all right? Everything's been contaminated. The house, the body, everything's been except for one thing, UM1 trace DNA. In fact, both 0.5 nanogram pieces might be closely identical. So how is that possible to have the whole crime scene destroyed, but to save 2 pieces of 0.5 nanogram, 2 pieces of 1/2 of 1/1000th of a gram of trace DNA? Now, what happened was the blood was on JonBenet's panties, right? And the blood had touch DNA inside the blood. The touch DNA was not on the clothing. It was inside the blood. So you could obtain touch DNA sample per ChatGPT, collect skin cells from a person by swabbing areas like a hand, face, or other parts of the body where cells are easily shed. Use a swab or dropper to place the mixed DNA and blood sample onto the surface where the blood stain is intended to be found. So you could have blood mixed with trace DNA and apply to the field. But you're going to be careful because if you're going to use blood sample, it could get washed away. Consider environmental factors from ChatGPT. Ensure the DNA sample is placed in a manner that won't easily be washed away, degraded, or overlooked. So what you have to do is have two places to put trace DNA. One in the blood sample, and if it gets washed away, you have a second sample that's safe. And where's the second sample found? It's found in the long johns in the waistband. That's too coincidental for me. That's another red flag. So you have two samples. One's protected in the waistband of another pair of article that she was wearing, and the other is in the blood on the panties itself. Now, DNA questions. How would a person plant trace DNA? How would a person get a 0.5 nanogram trace DNA? And how would a person save and preserve such a small amount of trace DNA? Does anyone in the Ramsey family have access to a DNA laboratory? Yes. Melinda was attending the Medical College of Georgia, Augusta University. We went over that earlier. She was 996, 2000. And her now husband, boyfriend at the time, he graduated 997 from that area, right? The same college. Now, it may not be Augusta University campus, but by default, Medical College of Georgia implies Augusta. There's other campuses. You have to cross-reference that. So in 996, with the Medical College of Georgia, Augusta University had facilities to collect, manipulate, and transfer trace DNA. And the answer is, in 996, the Medical College of Georgia and MCGAU Augusta had capabilities to handle DNA analysis and related tasks. Now, it goes into further details here. I really can't pronounce some of the stuff, but it's going through a lot of things here that Augusta University had. Additionally, you have molecular diagnostic laboratories. It's going on and on here, okay? Augusta core facilities, Center of Biotechnology and Genomic Medicine at MCG, established 2002. It had specialized labs, mid-1990s. It goes on. Therefore, it is reasonable to conclude the MCG had the necessary facilities and expertise to collect, manipulate, and transfer trace DNA. There are more red flags to consider. JonBenet's head injury. Who would have known that head injury of that magnitude in that location would not have caused external bleeding? Is she internally hemorrhaged? How would you have known that? That would be a medical background, right? Because I'm telling you, I would not have known that. There was no blood found that tells us where JonBenet received that head injury, as far as I know. Then you have JonBenet wearing size 12 clothing. Why would JonBenet be wearing size 12 when she's a size 6? So size 6, and she's wearing size 12 pants and size 12 long johns at the crime scene. According to ChatGPT, she's wearing size 12, much too large, long johns and size 12 underwear. So why would that be a red flag? Because it's a large canvas. In other words, the person had more material to work with, right? You need more material. Plus, it's easier to take clothing on and off, size 12. And so now look at the size of size 12 panties. Patsy went to New York, right? And she bought several pairs, size 12 panties. I heard 12 pair. Why would you buy 12 pair of size 12 panties or several pair? What, you want to give away to her niece, or I don't know. All I know is if you make a mistake, you have a backup plan. So now you have 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs, right? Things go wrong, another pair. Now, JonBenet might have an interest in days of the week. I don't know. It's sad to even think about it, but that's a story. Now you have a van. The van. There were reports by ChatGPT. There were reports and rumors of a dark van and suspicious lights being seen near the Ramsey home on the night of Ramsey's murder. But these accounts have not been substantiated with concrete evidence. Various tips and witness statements were investigated, but none of these reports provided definitive leads or were verified to be directly connected to the crime. Well, the van is crucial because you would need a mobile DNA unit to do meticulous work such as this. John Ramsey had the money and possible motivation. There are DNA mobile units deployed by police, and fabricating one would not be out of plausibility. Since the alleyway had a direct link to the Ramsey home, there is no problem with hiding the van or accessing the home. Anyone can work in complete privacy from this point. So I'm going to go here. First is the shoe thing. All right, here's the SAS shoes. All right, see the nice shoes. Then we have Augusta University, Medical College of Georgia, medicine. Then you have all these programs, Institute in Research, MCG Medicine. There's a lot of different things to look up here. All you got to do is go to augusta.edu/MCG. Okay. We go to we'll go out of that. Now here's the alleyway. See how it's all secluded? If we go here, look how close it is to the home. There's the alleyway, there's the home. And then as far as lights go, there are no light poles. See, there's no like light poles, right? There are power poles, but no light poles, as far as I know. In fact, we go over here, and the contributor from Reddit, it says that current backyard fence in the alley, this alley has no street lights and would be have provided tons of cover. So that's that story there. So the lights that are randomly turned off and on, could it be the accomplices working around the home? And that's why Patsy invited the people over, right? All the shoe prints, all the trace DNA, mixing everything together. How much time would it take to plant and mix trace DNA with blood at a crime scene? Apparently, it's like over just about an hour or less. Relatively short period to mix DNA and blood together. Would it be possible to have a victim in the stage of death and mix trace DNA at the site of the crime? And it's yes, it's possible. It needs precision and planning, but yes, it's possible. And so you got to make sure it's not, looks like it's not tampered with. Where did trace DNA come from? According to Pat, so what can we get trace DNA from? According to Patsy's 1996 Christmas family newsletter, Melinda graduated from Medical College of Georgia and is working in the pediatric ICU at Kennestone Hospital in Atlanta. So there's a potential, I hate saying it, but it's potential DNA, right? I'm not going to read between the lines for you guys. All right, it isn't nice. Okay, so now you cannot trace age from DNA. You can't. And so that leaves the whole window open, right? You don't know whose it is because it says you cannot trace. It says in summary, while it's possible to estimate the age of a person using trace DNA through advanced techniques like DNA methylation analysis, it's not a precise science and is not yet widely adopted in routine forensic practice. And this is 1996 we're talking about, 20-something years later, right? In fact, I read a current thing on the internet. It's 0.39% accurate, the age. So, or 3%. So the thing is, it's not an exact science. And so we do not know or may ever know the age of UM1. So possible circumstantial evidence. One type of circumstantial evidence that might be left are possible DNA lab sign-out, sign-in sheets of the Medical College of Georgia or Augusta University for 1996, MCGAU. Another possibility are locations or medical vans being equipped at this time or a witness to a van being loaded with equipment in that time frame. I have sent an email, NV email, to a person in charge of records at the MCGAU, but I've not heard back. I was letting her know that there might be an interest in records from this period regarding DNA lab access log entries and to please protect and back up these records and place them offsite if they are available. So that's my conclusion. I conclude that I think there was an accomplice or more than one accomplice with advanced medical knowledge present at the crime scene. I think the van might have been used to plant or supply materials to plant trace DNA at the crime scene or pre-plant trace DNA or materials that JonBenet would have or had worn. The mixing of trace DNA and blood at the crime scene, according to ChatGPT, could be done and would take less than an hour or approximately an hour. So my closing statement is that someone had a conscience or just had too much pressure and decided to be honest and let the world know that we could take a deep breath and put JonBenet to rest. May JonBenet, may the kingdom of our Lord, the all in all, that she might be allowed to enjoy the kingdom of Messiah for his 1,000-year reign on the earth from Jerusalem. Revelation chapters 20, 21, and 22, King James Version or New King James Version Bible. It's my references. So please like and subscribe. There's more videos coming in the future, Lord willing, and you all take care. Bye-bye now. Thank you for joining me on this this video. We're going to cover a different topic. It's the same case, the JonBenet Ramsey murder case, but the topic is going to be how many mobile DNA labs were there. So I was doing some more research on the DNA laboratory process because you had a van that's been cited. I was wondering to myself, how feasible is it to put together a mobile DNA lab? I mean, police do it now, but back then, 1996, how complicated was it? And well, we needed to make a mobile DNA unit lab work. So back to my paper. This is the original report. I have two videos out there. The murder of JonBenet Ramsey. One title is that the Ramseys plan to destroy all the evidence and leave only UM1 trace DNA to exonerate them. Let's ask ChatGPT. So my topic right now is the van. All right. So the van had to be necessary, crucial to make this thing work. And like I said, I'm going by the evidence, right? And ChatGPT reports there were reports and rumors of a dark van and suspicious lights being seen in the Ramsey home on the night of JonBenet Ramsey's murder, but these accounts have not been substantiated with concrete evidence. Various tips and witness statements were investigated, but none of these reports provided definitive leads or were verified to be directly connected to the crime. But it was still reported. So it wasn't like a UFO landed in the backyard. It was a van back there with some lights around it. I'm just saying that has some truth to this. So I'm saying, is a van DNA lab, feasible? So again, we go to ChatGPT. That's the point of this whole research, right? So I asked ChatGPT to plant previously obtained trace DNA at a crime scene. What equipment would a mobile DNA laboratory need? And it says to plant previously obtained trace DNA at a crime scene, a mobile DNA laboratory would require a more straightforward set of equipment, primarily focused on handling, preserving, and transferring the DNA without contamination. Here's what would be needed. Now we have DNA sample storage, secure sterile containers or vials. These should be kept in conditions that prevent degradation, such as portable cooler or refrigerated unit necessary, swabs, collection tools, sterile gloves, protective gear, micropipettes, if that's the correct way to say it, spray bottles, applicators, documentation, I guess. Sorry to make you dizzy here. Portable laminar flow hood. So it says if available, could be used. So what's a portable laminar flow hood? And that's this kind of unit right here. Yes, it's in the desktop. And they got like $3,000 top end, I guess. So anyway, that's available. And so we want to maintain sterility and DNA integrity, important steps to consider, placing DNA carefully in a location, make sure you don't leave any forensics experts are looking for detecting anomalies and evidence or any signs of tampering could raise suspicion, which just keep that in mind during this talk. Keep that in mind. So what type of mobile DNA lab would be more obtainable or constructed? And the type of mobile DNA lab described for planting previously obtained trace DNA could be more easily obtained and constructed, especially compared to a full-scale DNA analysis lab. Now you can obtaining one, you get commercial purchase, leasing, government, but listen to this. You can make your own vehicle conversion. It's standard vehicles such as a van or RV could be converted into a mobile lab. This would involve installing storage of DNA samples, still workspaces, and possibly small refrigeration units. Portable equipment, sterile swabs, portable laminar flow hood, while not essential, is it could be used to create a sterile environment. A DIY approach with some technical knowledge, a basic mobile DNA handling setup could be constructed using readily available materials and equipment. This would be less formal, but could still serve the purpose of handling and transferring DNA. So that's what I was asking about. I'm saying, okay, so now we have the feasibility of a mobile DNA unit transferring DNA, but how stout is DNA itself? I mean, it was coming technically from point A to point B. How could it be preserved? Well, my first hit was News Medical Life Sciences, newstachmedical.net, / life sciences, how to store DNA. And it says here, some studies indicate that DNA can be satisfactorily kept at room temperature and 4 degrees Celsius. Such samples were kept in TE buffer and were stable for 6 to 12 months. However, such DNA samples need to be monitored for DNA concentration and evaporation. And also it says here, a major misconception is that repeated freeze and thaw cycles have a deleterious effect on the quality of the DNA. However, studies show that repeated freeze and thaw cycles of the 19 cycles have no detected DNA degradation. So that kind of covers that topic. So back to the conversion, van, etc. So now we know that DNA could be kept at a reasonable temperature, stable, and manipulated, transferred, etc. But that's not the reason of this video. I mean, it kind of is, but I wouldn't have made the video just for that alone. Here's what surprised me. I logged out of ChatGPT and I came back in again. I said, would you repeat your last answer? Because I don't want to type this stuff again. And it said, oh, Melissa Ramsey was a working flight attendant before pursuing. I said, no, that's not what I asked you. So what about the mobile DNA unit? And look what I got for an answer. The Ramsey family hired a mobile DNA testing unit during the investigation of JonBenet Ramsey's murder. The mobile unit allowed for rapid and on-site DNA testing, which is intended to speed up the process of identifying potential suspects or excluding individuals from suspicion. The use of such a unit underscored the urgency and high-profile nature of the case. Well, I know you could do that, but he hired his own mobile DNA testing unit, and I said to myself, all right, if he did this, I bet it was fast. So I said, when did the Ramsey you order this unit? The Ramsey family hired the mobile DNA testing unit in January 1997, a month after JonBenet Ramsey's murder on December 26th. That's the wrong day, 1996. So they get this thing out there within a month, basically, right? Now, I don't know if the mobile DNA testing unit was with the police, to investigate to make sure there was no tampering, et cetera, if that was planted or not. It just, I'd rather have not seen this. I'd rather have seen the police went out there with a mobile, but the Ramsey family hired their own, just like their own, what, um, what do you call it? Lie detector, right? They hired their own people for that too. But what I'm saying is, it'd be more comfortable if the police had done this. I don't know how the police got involved at this stage. Was it afterwards or this DNA testing and work with the police? But anyway, that kind of surprised me. So I just thought I'd make this video. It might substantiate the fact that they might have had something to do with this process. But anyway, get to your own conclusions. But ChatGPT has given us this so far. My best to you all. You all take care. Bye bye now.